Good evening from St. Peter's in Hove. Welcome to this Lenten meditation, step by step through St. Mark's Gospel. You might remember last night we finished in the Garden of Gethsemane. Usually you go into the garden to relax. Jesus goes into this garden where he is struck by terror and anguish. And he said to them, "My soul is sorrowful to the point of death." So we talk about panic attacks, don't we? Terror and anguish goes much further than just a panic attack. And my soul is sorrowful to the point of death. Wait here and stay awake. Now, this stay awake thing is found in Jesus's vocabulary quite often in some of the parables where he says, you don't know the hour or the time when the Son of Man is going to come. So I say to you, watch, i.e. stay awake. To watch, to stay awake, to keep a vigil. So the servants who are waiting for the master to return must stay up all night because you never know when the master is going to come, midnight, 1 a.m. or whatever. And here Jesus again says, stay awake. Stay awake with me, he says to Peter, James and John, so that I may have your company and your support in this very, very difficult hour of crisis. And of course, here we see another instance where the events of Holy Thursday and Good Friday break out of the bonds and the limits imposed on them. They no longer become just something we read in a book, but they become something actual, something now. Because on Holy Thursday night, we are invited to watch with the Lord. We're invited to stay awake. We're invited to keep vigil. That is to say, after the Mass of the Last Supper, we are invited to pray in front of the altar of repose until midnight. So when Jesus says, stay awake, we can answer that invitation. We can stay awake with him. Just as earlier we talked about how his blood is poured out for the many, we're part of that many. We're in this story. And so when he says stay awake, we say, yes, we will stay awake. We will be there with you. And that is how we enter into this story. So this is not something that just happened thousands of years, 2,000 years ago to a whole load of people who are no longer with us. It's happening here and now. We're taking part in this story. We're there. And of course, the disciples were told to stay awake by the Lord. What do? The exact opposite. They go to sleep. So James, John, and Peter fall asleep. And Jesus says to them very sadly, Simon, are you asleep? Had you not the strength to stay awake 1 hour? Stay awake and pray not to be put to the test. The spirit is willing enough, but human nature is weak. Again, he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came back and found them sleeping. Their eyes were so heavy. And they could find no answer for him. He reproaches them for being asleep the second time. And the second reproach, they just are so embarrassed they cannot even make up an excuse. Oh, we were very tired. They realize that no excuse will cut it. They are utterly unable to say anything to the Lord. They failed him so dreadfully. They don't know what to say. Now, sometimes we will fail the Lord so dreadfully, we won't know what to say. We won't be able to have some wonderful excuse to hand. Oh, I couldn't go to Mass on Sunday because, etc. Or, the dog ate my homework sort of excuse that we always come up with. Oh, you've got to understand that I can't really do this because... No, there is no excuse. They have no excuse, no words. We need to stop justifying ourselves before the Lord. We need to stop justifying our laziness, our lack of feeling, our lack of compassion, our lack of concern, our lack of faith, our lack of general... commitment to his cause. We need to stop making excuses for ourselves, say there are no words, but I will try and do better in future. So a great failure on the part of the apostles, and that's a failure we can readily understand. And yet Jesus himself is going to redeem these apostles just as he's going to redeem us. Okay, let's leave them all there in the Garden of Gethsemane. We'll rejoin them tomorrow evening. All the very best. Good night, everybody. Nice to see you.